I'm Bethany Stout, the Community Manager on World of Warcraft. Some of you may know me as Lynxie on the forums. I'm excited to be hosting the first in a new video series where we will connect you with members of the development team to hear about what we're working on. Today I have Morgan and Maria to talk about Embers of Neltharion.
Hello, I'm Morgan Day. I'm one of the Associate Game Directors on World of Warcraft, and I don't know that I have a cool forum name like you do, but maybe I'll look into that.
I'll get you one.
But,
Yes, exactly.
but you're awesome, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
You're super awesome.
I'm Maria Hamilton. I'm lead game designer Worlds recently. Previously lead quest designer, so trying to remember my title.
Freshly promoted.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
well
much.
deserved.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's talk Embers of Neltharion.
Yeah, totally. So, coming up soon on May the 2nd, and, shortly after that, May the 9th, we're having our Embers of Neltharion update, as you mentioned, as well as our seasonal content on May the 9th coming out. So, the raid, the dungeons, the new PvP season, all those
good
goodies
stuff.
that our
All the
players
good
love.
stuff. Yeah.
We just recently had our content update that came out preceding this, the Return to Forbidden Reach, where players got to run around, find all kinds of fun, exciting content to play there. And, this is just a continuation of that commitment and one of the major goals that we really set out to achieve with the Dragonflight expansion of coming up with new exciting content at reasonable pace for our players to really enjoy. And this is just our first big patch update where we really get to commit and show players what we've been up to. So that's really been exciting.
Yeah, the pace has been increased.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
sure you guys feel it.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean, we committed to those 6 patches a year. The two larger ones, Embers of Neltharion being the first one of those 2 bigger ones. But we've been really excited to get this stuff out there and try some stuff. Right? It gives us a chance to try some stuff. It's been super fun to get this quicker cadence, get everybody engaged and involved and having fun with it. So now's a really cool time to jump in, get that gear, go to Forbidden Reach, get that gear, because boy is the gear dropping like mad. You're not going to be behind the curve, you're going to be right there with everybody else. Get started right away, get into the story.
Actually, it was, Maria and I have had many conversations around like, okay, do we send you straight into 10.1 and not worry about all the stuff that you got to find out in the beginning of Forbidden Reach? And we're doing something a little bit different where we'll actually send players to the Forbidden Reach right at the start of the Embers of Neltharion if you haven't seen that before.
Right, only if you
That
haven't
is
seen it
interesting.
already. No, I mean, it's a cool opportunity. It's really exciting to our narrative team. It's really exciting to our quest team. The opportunity to kind of have that prologue, for people, and then just make sure that somebody coming in new, somebody that maybe hasn't played for a while, understands like, oh, this is what we're talking about. This is the story. And if they've been playing Forbidden Reach, then they've already played it. And maybe they're taking advantage of this opportunity to level up their alts, which is what I'm doing. I've got so many alts. But anyway, they're leveling up their alts, they're gearing their alts, right, in preparation for going into 10.1 and right down into Zaralek Cavern. I think one of the interesting things is we see Farak, he goes up into that cool fireball and then transforms into his dragon form and goes zooming down there. And he's up to something. We know he's up to something, but we don't know what. We don't know why, right? And that's part of what we'll learn during our campaign questing is like, what is he up to exactly? But we also see the Drakthir. We see Sarkareth and his troops, his forces, members of the Sundered Flame, watching. And they've been following since the Return to Forbidden Reach, since that cinematic came out where we showed them kind of observe the incarnates come. And they're clearly also following, and they want to claim Neltharion's legacy. They believe that is their birthright, right? They were abandoned. So we have these 2 different kind of perspectives. Then you add in the Black Dragons, who also have an opinion about Neltharion's legacy. And it kind of lines up for a nice clash, right? And it's kind of build up that moment and that nice clash. And as we explore around and move through the zone, there's like sort of this natural cave feel. You get some crystalline stuff, you get some stalactites and stalagmites, but you also have this cool sulfur area with like bubbling caustic pools, and it's kind of gross. And
great.
It's the dumping ground. It's actually the dumping ground where all of the Aberrus experiments got put in. Like sulfur has not been good for them. And then you also have this volcanic area, and you have all this sort of Jarden guys who are not quite the same guys as the surface. They've got these elders that they worship and follow that have been sort of asleep here for a very long time.
Are they allied with the Incarnates?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. So Farak is there specifically to make a deal with those dudes.
Right.
right, with those elders. And yeah, he's soaking up the heat and the warmth and likes those lava pools, and
Like a lava
that's his
jacuzzi.
thing. It is very much a lava jacuzzi, actually. But anyway, that's not important right now. What's important is we have this cool volcanic area with these volcano, with all this lava waterfalls and bubbling, and you can't really walk through it for very long without taking a lot of damage, as lava does. Really mean Jarden here.
And it's the world boss also, right?
And
Where
the
it's
world
like
bosses.
These Jarden,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
Exactly.
first.
Twin world
It's a
bosses.
first.
It's like these Jarden elders, which we're going to learn about, which, not only are they in, the Zerlet Cavern, and there's the world boss, where there are two elders that are kind of like the dueling twin world boss, but also there's another Jarden elder within Aberys, the Shadowed Crucible, which is our new raid. And yeah, it's...
There's 9 bosses, right?
Yeah, big raid.
Yes, huge.
Really excited for that. And this space that we're going to get to explore and see, and as we lead into the raid, we get to discover kind of the legacy of Neltharion. And you've seen kind of the Black Dragonflight kind of like labs before, with Blackwing Lair, Blackwing Descent,
So
but
many.
this is the place that kind of like preceded them. Like this is the blueprint.
This is where things went wrong, right? This is where Neltharion started to hear those whispers, started to be corrupted, and this is where that happens. Because you're going with black dragons, you're going with Sibelian and Rathian in to explore. You're going to see their reactions to what their flight did, what their aspect did, and I think that adds a lot, to that experience. So, we'll get a touch, at sort of an idea of what Deathwing was really up to. One of the coolest bosses, I think, just because nostalgia, is we have the boss. I can't remember what it's called, Morgan, but it's the one where he prototyped his armor.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
The bolted on
I love
armor
that.
pieces, like
Yes.
the jaw piece and all of that. We're gonna fight that prototype, and that's pretty cool stuff. So.
Totally. And one of the characters that we get to meet that you didn't mention was Abyssian.
Oh yeah.
Right, and I love the kind of contrast between and Sibelian, and like kind of, they bicker a
Yeah,
little, like
just
they
a
kind
little.
of go back and forth, and they can't always agree. And I love the kind of injection of Abyssian to kind of be the like, all right, almost like a translator, a mediator, like, all right, what's
They
your
need it.
problem? Yeah, totally.
Plus, sort of like at the end of the story in The Return to Forbidden Reach, we saw Emberthal and Abyssian kind of come to an understanding with each other about what the Drakthir's place might be, and Abyssian called them family. And so we'll also get to see what's going on with the Drakthir and continue the Drakthir story here as well.
I love that. You just zoom straight on your dragon into the caverns.
That was serious engineering work to make that work, because
Oh,
we've
I
never
bet.
had a stacked zone like that before.
No, it's really, really neat.
And you can dragon ride. Dragon riding is epic, right? And
Dragon riding
Dragonflight.
is so good.
But going down through that twisty tunnel and zooming into the cavern, that
with
feels so good.
With the new trait where the closer you hover to the ground, you just get
Yeah.
faster. It's really
I was just going to mention that, yeah, there's not only, a new dragon mount that's like kind of long and
Slither drake.
slender. The
Yeah,
slither
the
drake,
long
thank you,
slither
good with
drake.
names. And yeah, it's super cool looking. And when we were talking about like, okay, well, we've got dragon riding. It's been such an awesome addition to World of Warcraft, and everyone has reacted so positively. So we were like, okay, well, like, what could we add in terms of like the traits that your dragon's doing? And it was very much. Anytime you see dragons in media or movies, there's always that scene where they're like hovering across the ground and you see all the dust flying
Yes.
up, and we're like, okay, well, like,
have to do that.
We have to do that, so let's do that. So that is a new trait that we added. And there's new glyphs, not only in Zerlet Cavern, but also in Forbidden Reach that you can collect and kind of earn those new traits. So
Yeah,
I know
there's-
personally that's like the first thing I'll do.
Yeah, one of the things about the cavern that makes it interesting to dragon ride in is that we have these different spaces within the cavern. It's a big place, right? It's almost as big as Zareth Mortis for anybody that played that. So it's a little bit bigger. Come to think of it. So yeah, one of the cool things about it is though it's like a natural place, so the ground level changes, right? There's rises, and so if you're doing that skimming thing, you actually it's a little challenging, right? You have the opportunity to really actively play as you're zooming along. It's not cramped. It doesn't feel cramped. At first, I was worried about that.
Yeah, me too.
But
Or claustrophobic.
yeah. It doesn't feel very claustrophobic.
No, it's pretty wide open.
I mean, speaking of, that reminds me of something that, we were listening to feedback really early on when we were talking about like, okay, what's our first zone going to be? And something that the players really were, saying a lot was, hey, you know, when you open up a new zone, like, let's not leave behind these awesome spaces that we created in the Dragon Isles, right? Like, I want to keep exploring all these cool zones that the team has created. And, you know, that's something that we took to heart. Often in the past, when we've had a new zone, it's like, okay, you're spending like 90% of your time there. Where this one, we really wanted to create opportunities for players to still explore it and feel rewarded for, you know, doing a lot of those activities, you know, like the soup tasting event and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know, like, yes, chef. You know, we'll be updating those with rewards and also adding cool new events up there as well. So we really wanted to leverage our existing zones and make, you know, let the players have a reason to explore, continue to explore those and feel rewarded. That's one of my favorite parts about, you know, early zone development when we're talking about like building a new zone is there's that early process where you have a lot of cool concepts. There's a lot of ideation around like, okay, well, like, what is this place? You know, what are the biomes? What kind of creatures would live here? What kind of creatures, and then like, how would the environment affect them?
Yeah.
And it's always so fun, like there's awesome concept art, and that's when you start to see things like the Niffin really come to be.
So the Niffin are one of our sort of new friendly ally races. So when we were trying to figure out, well, what made sense? Like in developing this culture, like we had this amazing art from the art team. Like, oh my God, these are adorable. We have to do something cool. Then it was like, well, what would this culture be? What would they be about? What would they care about? How would they, you know, how would they like interact with the world? And we do have a dev on the quest team who has some pet rats, and so she had all sorts of ideas. And we eventually said, you know what? Why don't you be in charge of like figuring out how we're going to do that? So yeah, so she has used like sort of her knowledge of what her rats do and how they react to things to help inform, you know, ideas for what we would do for the culture for the Niffins. They don't see super well, so they use scent, and so a lot of our stuff has been around like, oh, what would things smell like? So one of our areas is a sulfurous area, right, which kind of messes with their noses and messes with them a little bit. Yeah, and we have a little activity that allows you to go explore with your Niffin buddy, Mirrit, and it's called Sniffin Seeking. Because we think we're funny.
Yeah,
hilarious.
It's pretty cute.
Yes, we think we're very funny. But yeah, you get to explore places that only they can reach because they're going to burrow with you under the ground. And you can find all sorts of chambers and weird puzzles and interesting treasures. And the whole idea was to really lean into like who these creatures are, like, and what interests them. And of course, they follow their nose. So one of the things you can do when you get to one of these places is say, hey, do you smell anything? And it'll be like, it smells kind of weird over here. And then you can go check that out.
So you go follow the weird smell?
Yeah.
I love the animation too. Like you hold your buddy
Yeah,
up.
you hold him up. You hold him. You kind of like. It looks really funny if you're a gnome or a Volpera or something shorter. You're holding.
Because they're basically the same size,
yeah,
right?
They're pretty.
No, it's cute. It's really cute.
So cute.
So the cool thing is, one of the races that we're gonna, not the races like snails, but the creature races. So one of them, so Drogbar. So Drogbar are back. So anybody that remembers the Drogbar knows that they love to lift heavy objects. They're kind of like, you know,
They're the bros.
did you do leg day and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But their other thing is this love of snails and snail racing and betting on snail racing. That's like huge to their culture. We're going to be asked to help make a particular snail, and they're all named, win the races that week, and we'll all get different ones.
Wait,
that
you're
we need to
fixing
help.
the race?
No, you're trying to fix the race,
okay.
right? Obviously, you're trying to fix the race. So you might get asked to, go for one snail, but I might get asked to make another snail win.
Right.
And so what happens is we get the opportunity to like give boosts to our snails during the race as we toss things to them so that they can get boosted. But snail races are very exciting in the cavern, and that attracts baddies, and baddies will come and try to attack, and so you need to defend the snails as well. So it's got a whole like activity associated with it, and we've got this cool achievement in mind for if you are able to get each snail to win at some point. Some of them are slow, some of them are really slow, so it's really hard, to make them win. So it should be super fun for players and have, give them the opportunity to kind of, try to fix the race. And yeah, snail racing should be really, really fun.
When we talk about questing and quest mechanics, we're always experimenting with like, what are neat and novel like quest mechanics that we can make you do? And our designers are so creative and constantly come up with new things. But dragon riding is the way I've been kind of considering it is like, this is new kind of core gameplay to World of Warcraft. Like this is like as core as playing my classes, and we can really, build mechanics that feel as natural as just like kill, 10 bears or whatever, but on my mount with my dragon as I go through and, like you said, like fly around and explore different parts of the zone.
No
or
spoilers,
something.
though.
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, the other
trying.
the
I
other
would
ones
never.
that we added that jump out are like the cataloging quests, where you're taking the photographs from the different
I love
places,
those.
and also the climbing. Right, that was us experimenting with some other options and quest mechanics.
There's
Also,
lots
and
of climb in a cavern.
yeah, totally,
True.
totally.
There's so many new features with Embers of Neltharion. Personally, my favorite is cross-faction guilds and being able to play the race that I want to, but also raid with my guild members on the opposite faction. I am super stoked about that. Can you tell us more about any of these awesome new features that are coming?
Yeah, I mean, just speaking of cross-faction guilds, that's been something that it really felt like a natural continuation of, we added cross-faction instances. Like with Dragonflight, you can raid with the other faction. And, we were, a lot of us were enjoying that ourselves and just found that like, hey, there's some, kind of some friction between how are we organizing. Like we can't see calendar invites, we can't steal things out of the guild
It's
bank.
all about the guild bank.
Obviously,
I know.
guild
I've been
repairs.
having to source my own raid consumables.
I'm so sorry.
It's rude.
But yeah, it just felt like such a natural continuation of allowing players to have cross-faction instances. And this is a huge, update for World of Warcraft. It's, we've had these factions that have never really been able to cooperate for the entirety of our game. And this one update in itself is just so exciting and awesome.
It's really complicated.
Yeah.
Like in the guts of the system, like they never intended this to happen, right?
Yeah.
So they're having to disentangle and follow threads everywhere. There's a lot of years worth of no, they can't work together in there to find and pull out. So it's a big engineering effort. They've been
Control
working
F
really well on.
faction.
Yeah, that's how it works, Morgan. That's
so
all
sorry.
they have to do is they just like. Actually, what we need to do is get some guy on his internship to just take care of it for us. You can just jump in there.
You'll love that.
It's very complicated, actually. So.
I would love to talk about PvP. I know that's your favorite, Maria.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We are adding new PvP talents. So, with the launch of Dragonflight, we redid the entire talent tree and the entire talent system. So we really felt like that's a lot of change,
That's a lot.
right? Like, like PvPers are going to have a lot of fun, like exploring the different talent builds that they can do. And I know a lot of PvPers have their solo shuffle talent build versus their 3v3 talent build. So that's really cool, and that gave them a lot of stuff to experiment with. But going into season 2, we wanted to do like an honor talent refresh. So that's something we're really excited about. But then in terms of particular changes we might be making to the different activities, not so much changes to solo shuffle, like you said, like it's been wildly popular, so we're going to kind of leave that be.
Yeah.
But something that we did identify is just like, okay, now that there's so many people doing solo shuffle, let's kind of change like the rating curve of what 2 versus 2 and 3 versus 3 look like, so that you can hit some of those higher rating like thresholds and get some of that elite gear maybe a little bit easier because of the difference in the player pools that we're seeing. That was one of those things that as we were talking about, like what are cool features that we can develop for Embers of Neltharion. One of the problems that we identified was just like there's so many ways to upgrade gear in our game, right? Like you've got Valor, there's Conquest and PvP, there's these like primal storms, and you have unique currencies and upgrade paths there. So we really looked at that as an opportunity to try to simplify, right? Like create one kind of upgrade system to rule them all, right? And just create some, try to simplify where we can. And also it just really gives players something exciting to really chase as a reward. And there's that progression for the outdoor player who's really just excited about the story. There's some really cool upgrade elements to the things that they'll be earning. Not only we're having a renown track for the Niffin of Alome, as we learned about them. They have their new renown that we're introducing. There's some really cool high item level stuff in there that you can use your flight stones, which is the currency that you'll kind of be earning all over the place. To upgrade your gear. So yeah, that's something that we're really excited to get into players' hands. And we're hoping that will become kind of like an evergreen feature, something that we can carry forward into World of Warcraft to make it better forever. This isn't just a feature that we're thinking of for Embers of Neltharion.
It's great too when we're trying to figure out cool rewards for things, because we know, flight stones, everybody's going to want to upgrade their gear. We can toss that onto stuff that normally maybe wouldn't be contributing in that way. And then we also have the crests. Don't forget about the crests.
Oh,
Crests
yeah.
are what lets you jump the level up, right?
Right.
So when you're doing something really extra epic, you'll get a crest or crests, and then you can use those crests to bump it. So you don't have that idea of like, oh, I have to have this rating to be able to upgrade the thing. You just need to have the crest.
I love that.
And it's cool too, actually, because it's not just, hey, I'm going to use my crest on my shoulders, and then when I get new shoulders, I need more crests. It actually, there's a really cool new feature where like that slot is actually upgraded, and you can kind of remember that. And not only is that slot upgraded, but one of our philosophies that we talked a lot about is really just being considerate of people who play multiple characters.
Yay.
Like people love their alts.
Yay!
And so, once you have upgraded one of those items, not only is that something that will be remembered for that character, but you'll also get a discount on those flight stones you were just talking about, where it'll be cheaper to upgrade that slot as well. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're introducing with that feature. We're excited to see.
That is very welcome.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that is a philosophy that we kind of really wanted to make sure we were, or our goal we wanted to make sure we were hitting with Dragonflight, and that's definitely something we're carrying into the Embers of Neltharion as well. Sets are coming back also, in case that wasn't well known, but sets will be back, and the team, definitely had a lot of fun. Not only the art team, who always knock it out of the park, they do such a great job, but the designers who were working on that really spent a lot of time to make sure that the set bonuses were in one of the early iterations of our test realm, so that players could give us feedback, and that's been so helpful. And there's already been some pretty big redesigns of some of those sets.
Yes,
that's been really cool.
Feedback is so helpful for this.
There's also been a lot of feedback around just like set acquisition, right? Like initially, like when they were in the game before, it always felt almost like that journey, that goal that you had at the end of the season of, all right, I'm gonna get my set bonus, it's gonna take me a little while. But the more and more that we've seen the players interact with them, the more it just feels like they wanna get their hands on it as soon as they can.
Yes.
So we have things, like the Revival Catalyst that really is there to work as kind of like your bad luck protection. But we did wanna add some opportunities for players to feel like they have more agency this time around. So we've added not one, but two things. So the first is there is something called the Mark of Mastery, which is some alliteration, and is, once you have kind of cleared the raid on heroic difficulty, or, done the other kind of competitive equivalents, right? Getting a certain rating in Mythic Plus or PvP, you get the mark, and you can actually turn it in for any set item that you want. So if you're just like, I can't get the...
Gotta fill the hole,
I just can't get the helmet, right? Like,
I'm missing my fourth
I just
piece.
keep getting the pants over and over and over and over.
Right, exactly.
It's the pants
You
patch.
can never have
Too
too many
many
pants, but so that's something that we did. And then also we added on Sarkareth, who's our end boss of Aberrus, is added like a Omni token. Like it can kind of count as any set item. So that'll drop for the whole raid group, and you can kind of pass that out as you see fit. And that'll really give players, we feel, a bit more agency to kind of get their set bonuses online, before the Revival Catalyst.
There were some changes to the Catalyst as well, right?
A bit. We definitely have iterated on that. Initially in season 1, there was that quest that you had to do. That we actually got some cool kind of tech that let you complete the quest across your account, not just on a character. And then that kind of Catalyst charge would be for all your characters as well. But with season 2, we've gone back to just the version that players might have been familiar with
Zereth Mortis?
Zereth Mortis, thank you.
Creation Catalyst.
With the Creation Catalyst, where it's just kind of a cruise over time, and there's not a quest you have to do or anything like that.
We have new affixes.
Oh, yes.
You want to talk about the new affixes?
Yeah, so, there's been a lot of conversation, would you believe, in the community around
Lots of feedback.
Oh, yes.
Mythic Plus.
Opinions. There are opinions.
Yes, and I love to hear them. Please keep them coming. The different feedback from the community around the affixes. We've definitely retired a few. We call it kind of put them in the vault. Maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't, but they're away for now. One of the other big changes, actually 2 other big changes, that is coming with season 2 of Mythic Plus on May 9th. Yep, May 9th.
Yes.
May 9th. May 9th. Yep.
And the entire pool of dungeons is different, right? Like, unlike Shadowlands, where we had kind of a very similar dungeon pool and we would add some on occasion, we've got an entirely new dungeon pool. So not only...
Freshens it up.
Exactly. Not only does that mean that, you're kind of learning a lot of these new dungeons, but you've also got the affixes that you're kind of figuring out along the way. And the other part that I'm personally excited about is it means new loot to chase, right? Instead of saying like, okay, I gotta get my that trinket that I have to get every season, I need to go get it again. Like, there's a new thing that'll be cool. It's not just gonna be like, let's go get the puzzle box again.
Yeah, it's like relearning everything all over again.
Yeah, so that's really cool. But we've also, we're talking a lot about just like general Mythic Plus complexity and feeling like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And you know, we really took a huge step back and thought about, like, you know, when Mythic Plus first came out in Legion, you know, like Mythic Plus 10 was kind of like the ceiling. Like, you didn't go too far past that. I mean, people did, certainly. Like, there are people who are very good at the game who would push well past that. But that was really where, like, the goalpost was for a lot of people. And with Dragonflight, we really wanted to kind of create more of a progression with Mythic Plus, similar to that we have with, like, heroic raids or other types of content. So we stretched out kind of where the rewards can be given out at. And we took a step back and we were like, wait a minute, we never moved where the affixes, like, turn on. So, you know, a lot of people will get into Mythic Plus having never seen the version of the dungeon that doesn't have all the affixes turned on, even potentially the seasonal in Season 1. So we think that change will be really healthy for the community, not only from a progression perspective, where, you know, maybe it's like, all right, I'm pushing for Keystone Master now. Cool, now this new affix bucket's gonna turn on. But also just like allowing you to kind of ease into the dungeons and learn the mechanics.
It's less intimidating for people who haven't really stepped into Mythic Plus dungeons, so it'll be a nice stepping stone with the change.
That's the hope.
Yeah. Thank you for removing Grievous, by the way. Felt healer. Well, what's next coming up after Embers of Neltharion? Is there anything exciting we can kind of sneak out to players?
Ooh, yeah. There have been a lot of questions about N'Zdormu and what's going to happen with N'Zdormu. You know, he's fated to become Murozond, and so, you know, in soon, soon we will get some, let's say, resolution to that story where we actually have, you know, Chromie and Evil Chromie, Morchi, and Murozond and N'Zdormu, and then you know, we got to have Galakrond, because, you know, everybody wants to see what happens with Galakrond.
Everybody.
Yeah, so we got to have a Galakrond out there, and then of course there's a whole question about like Iridikron and what he's up to, and spoilers, it is not a good thing.
I'm sure it's totally, you know, innocent.
No. So yeah, there's some cool timey-wimey badness that I would anticipate if I were a betting person, considering we've kind of told the stories of some folks. Like, you know, we've continued some of the storyline for the Greens, and we told a little bit about what the Green Dragonflight's up to, and there's encrypted stuff that's going to talk about another Dragonflight like group in Embers of Neltharion, and then, you know, we got the timey-wimey stuff coming, so lots to be excited about.
There's a lot coming.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we're excited about is we released, you know, the content roadmap, right? Like, that's not something we had done before, and we're really committed to releasing that content at an exciting pace for our players, and we do plan to update that, right? Like, that is something that there were details on it. Some of them were omitted very intentionally, so there's definitely some
obviously
updates
we're not
to
going to tell them about the whole part.
No.
That's definitely not a thing we're going to talk about. Shh. Right.
I enjoyed every moment of talking with you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time. With that said, is there anything else you guys want to mention before we go?
Yeah, it's a great time to come play, and we would love to see you.
Awesome.
We would love to see you play and come in and join us. And I mean, I'll be changing alts, you know, endlessly, but whatever, you know, come join us.
And for myself, I guess I'm super excited not only for everything Marie just mentioned. You know, it's never been a better time to play World of Warcraft. There's so much excitement right now, but also I will personally be watching the Race for World first.
That is exciting, so tune in for Starkara. Thank you both so much for hanging out and talking Embers of Neltharion, and thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.